I guess his base question: when did you start getting into it, and how did you start getting into it?
I've actually been in music like all my life. Like even when I started, because I grew up in church, so like music has been the like a main thing. I used to sing in church and all this stuff. I played the piano too. I had piano lessons. I'm very blessed to have like free piano lessons from this very close friend or family friend of ours. So had like my foundation there, and then when I was like around 15 and 16, that's when I started to really produce music, or like started with FL Studios and all that stuff. And
Now, FL for those who aren't
yeah.
quite in the know, by FL Studios, you mean?
Oh yeah, it's like a DAW, which is like a software where you make
What does
music.
FL
Yeah,
stand
record.
for?
Oh, it's Fruity Loops
Fruity
Studios.
Loops.
Yeah.
And um, that's, as far as I understand, Fruity Loops is kind of the standard.
Mhm. Yeah, it's usually that and a few others, which is like the main one. It depends on your style of how you like to record or make music, but yeah, FL Studios, which is it's my style. Yeah.
And when you say your style,
Mm.
just to kind of dig a little deeper on that, what I'm genuinely curious, what exactly, like, what makes
Uh,
it different from another, from a different producing application?
for FL Studios, I think the interface, like not say simplicity, but the way I do my things, like where the plugins are at, where the master, like the mixing channels at, I think appeals to me like more because, for example, another one is called and yeah, Ableton Live. That software is more for recording, so people that like play live music and they want to record it to the software, they will
Okay.
use Ableton Live more. Yeah, but you can use FL Studio too. But apparently Ableton is live is for more live music. Yeah.
And I think that's more now because you produce mostly in which, by the way, I'll be adding in a
Yeah.
bunch of these songs in post, and then all the links
Hey,
will be
sure,
down
man.
there in the description. So guys, make sure,
Hey.
guys and girls and non-binary and everyone in between, make sure you
Hey.
go check out the Pimp Lim. Really good
Thank you.
instrumentals.
Thank you.
Honestly, I like to throw them on and just freestyle a little bit.
Hey, I know
Maybe
what you
maybe I'll
mean. Know
throw you
what
my
you mean.
bars. Maybe I can be your ghostwriter.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Uh,
uh,
anyway,
yeah.
so that's interesting. So yeah, you're
Mm-hmm.
mostly in like the not explicitly trap beats, but more hip hop
Yeah.
rap style beats is what you produce.
Yeah, that's what I like to be a little more melodic with my beats. That's just naturally me. Even when I
Mm-hmm.
rap or sing, I do it more melodically, which is slightly different than current music because they usually have like a main melody and just like drums and that's it. So like a little
Very
bell.
percussion focused.
Yes, yes, which is a vibe too. Like I love it too. So it's not hating on them, but I prefer to be more melodic and different elements and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Mhm.
I mean, like I said, I'm always yamming on them. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, generally speaking, like how long does it take? How long does it take to make a track?
Oh, okay.
Like if
For an
let's just say a
instru,
three
yeah,
minute, your average, your tracks are usually around 2 to 3 minutes.
yeah.
So let's just say an average length song.
So for an instrumental, if there's no vocals involved, it'll take roughly, I would say you can get it out in a few days. But for me, because I like to like fine tune everything, so it takes a little longer, maybe like 4 or 5 days. But you can mix and master an instrumental in around that time. But once you include vocals, oh, that's another like maybe a week plus, can go up to 2 weeks. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
because
it
then you got to go and
depends.
touch them up after the
Yeah,
fact, right?
yeah, you gotta touch up the vocals because vocals itself is in a whole like another like time of your time to like mix and master. So and to put it together with the track, yeah, it will take like a while. That's why some songs like like from mainstream artists, they take like years to do it, or like maybe even a few months for like an EP or something like that. Yeah.
Well, you
So
got to be patient, like a bird of prey.
oh yeah. Oh my goodness.
But anyway,
Call.
I'm kind of curious because I mean, I'm not particularly musically inclined. That's not necessarily where my
No,
inclinations
I
come
think
from. Um,
yeah.
but when it comes to that, I'm
Uh-huh.
kind of good with the beats and the percussion and that kind of stuff. But then it
Mm,
loses me on the melody. So, I mean, and I'm just
mm.
kind of genuinely curious. I don't know what comes to you first, the melody, the beat, and then do you kind of get a bunch of different pieces and then put them together, or do you go piece by piece, beat, melody,
Mm.
or do you kind of have some kind of ideas floating around and then you kind of this might go well with this, how like I don't know, just take me through the creative process in terms of how a song comes together from your mind to the computer.
So okay, so if I'm feeling I have a melody in my head, I usually play on the piano first. So like pull up FL keys, which is like a piano synthesizer, and then I'll just put the melody on the like write it down and then like loop it, and then if you like maybe you hear you like as a musician you hear like certain things like, oh maybe this needs some strings, or like you need some like background like noises, like maybe like a trumpet or a horn or a bass, and then from that melody itself you would kind of hear it, like I can't really explain that feeling, but you hear it in your head, and then you just like sing. Either you sing it out. Sometimes for like hooks for songs, I'll actually just like do sounds. So like for example, like maybe like na 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 na. So something like that, just like no words, but you just make sounds, and then the words are like when you write, it start coming later.
So,
So
so when you put,
yeah.
I'm just gonna hop in here real quick. So when you kind of get like you have a general idea of how you want some, like some kind of sound or some kind of melody, and
Yeah.
then you have a general idea, and then you just kind of start playing with it, almost like
Hmm.
a little bit of jazz, where you go a little high, you
Yeah.
go a little low, and
Yeah.
you just kind of hit the spectrums and see where inside each. Okay, so
Mm.
that's it. So generally you start with melodies. That is
Yes, I
that,
I start with melodies. Yeah,
so
because I
and
feel, yeah, I
I'm
feel
the
like
opposite.
if
I do
you,
beats.
yeah, I know what I mean, they many producers do it many different ways, and it works
Yeah,
for many different people. Yeah,
yeah.
but for me, I'll go with melody first, because for me, if I don't have a good melody, the rest of my song will be shit. You know what I mean? That's my mentality. Yeah, so a good melody, including of all aspects. So like every single element. And then I'll start with the drums. But you could be stuck sometimes, like you don't know what other instruments or sounds to put on, but you know it's missing. So I usually go to drums too, because the drums will keep you have a consistent like BPM, which is
Mm-hmm.
like a beats per minute.
Metronome.
Yeah, like a metronome. So sometimes when you hear the percussions, then you will see, oh, okay, this will go well with this like vibe. You know what I mean?
So
Yeah.
you kind of use you bring in the beat after you work on the melody, to
Mm.
act as a support and brace in certain areas. Is that kind of a
Yeah.
correct? Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting
Hmm.
because, like I said, I mean, like it's not something I do often, but
Hmm.
my mind kind of works the opposite way, where I would
Hmm.
use the beats, like I would use the percussion to create a foundation to then,
Mm.
but then I also would prefer simplistic melodies, just because that's not
Mm.
exactly where um, my interests are a lot more in the percussion, and then the last one I
Mm.
want to touch on, which is vocals. So
Mm.
in terms of when you write a song,
Yeah.
mm, kind of the same question as before. What's your you know
Mm.
you or your Eminem where you have 10,000 lines written on a little scrabbly piece of paper, or do you just kind of sit down and hit 16 as you listen? Or like,
uh,
do you write do you write lyrics to go with songs, or do you write
mhm.
lyrics and then when the right song comes along, you put them together?
Okay, so for certain beats, if I hear and I like it, I would start. I'll just write for the beat. I do have like stuff written down that doesn't have like any background music yet. But then sometimes when I hear a beat and I like, oh, this will go with this kind of lyrics, you know what I mean? And then okay, then I would start expanding on that. But I don't generally write down uh, before hearing a song. So I would definitely play like a beat first, and then I'll just write the lyrics or a hook. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you gotta
that's
kind of
how I.
feel the energy from the song to know what,
Yeah.
like even if you know like kind of. And that's another thing,
Mhm.
your music, your
Yeah.
lyrics, they're not, they
Mm.
have a little bit more meaning than some of
Yeah.
today's, average songs. Yo,
Hmm, hmm.
yo, shoot the blammer, make the money,
Hey,
smack the hoe. I
hey,
mean,
get the
what I mean,
bag, shoot the
fuck,
ox.
I got
Yeah.
12-hour playlists full of nothing but that kind of
Hmm.
music. But
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I mean, your lyrics have depth to them, and
Mm. Thank
so
you. Thank you.
it's like, especially when it comes to like, say, like a theme or like kind of an idea that you're,
Mm.
inside a lyric, you got kind of a
Mm.
theme or an idea that you're going. Like
Yeah.
how, I know this is a very abstract question, but like
Hmm.
what makes you, what in your mind makes you think like this, what makes you match the two? What makes you think that this
Mm.
melody and this beat are
Mm.
a good medium for a theme? Like, you understand what I'm asking.
Yeah. So like, okay, so if it's like, let's say a hard trap song, like you wanna go straight like gangster style, like you're trying to like do so for those kind of beats, I'll usually go very simple on the hook because people want to hear your verses more. So you go like super in depth, all the wordplay with your verses, and then the hook can just be very simple, like 8 bar stuff. You know what I mean?
Hmm?
Like just maybe a one word or some or like repeating one word, some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to go for like maybe more like Juice World vibe, where
Yeah,
he like a lot of love songs type of shit, heartbreaking sad songs, then
anthems.
you can yeah some so you can do on that kind of music you can do both. Like you can have pretty decent verses and you go like very in depth with the hook, which has like a heavy meaning behind like the song.
Well,
So
I'm actually
yeah.
asking maybe even a bit more specifically than that.
Mm,
Like, let's say like you kind of have two, you got a couple, obviously you're a well-rounded person, you have more than a few ideals and such. So like
mm,
what makes you think that a song might be a vehicle for one idea, like one kind of I- idea
mm,
or such, than another?
okay, so
Less
when I
so less
hear a
so in the
beat,
styling and more
yeah,
in terms of like the ideas, the
yeah.
themes.
So okay, whenever I hear a beat, first thing I would analyze how it makes me feel, like personally. So maybe like if it's a very romantic kind of like vibe, and then okay, maybe this will match this kind of lyrics. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So if it's like hitting 808s, like just like simple melody and got the percussion, got the bop, and okay, maybe this is like a hard trap song. Like we're gonna go gangster on this, you know. So that's the main difference. So like maybe a romantic song will have like very nice synthesizers, maybe a nice guitar loop, um, or for like a sad song will get like a nice piano loop. Yeah, so it's usually
You just
those like factors. And for like a
you
hard
just got
track,
to kind of feel the energy, basically. the energy and the theme very much have to be kind of working in tandem.
Oh
So
yeah, for sure. Hmm.
yeah, I think that's very. I
As
mean, I think that's very interesting.
Yeah,
Because I thought.
especially
I mean, I think in
yeah.
other. I mean, not just music, of course, film, all
Hmm.
those other kind of things. I just find it interesting to choose. When you've got a lot. Most creative people have more than one thing to say.
Mm.
So I'm always curious as to how they choose which medium matches best with which things. And I think you're probably right. And this is very abstract, so write this down and it won't help you at all. But you just got to feel the energy. There's someone,
Yeah,
there's someone trying to say
yeah,
how to become an artist. Feel the
yeah.
energy.
Don't.
What does that mean?
No, you don't
But
like try too hard, because like let's say a simple beat, right? You must know how it makes you feel in order to understand how others would feel when they listen to it. So when you're listening to a beat and you like bopping your head like shit, this like okay, and it's that simple, or you don't need to add another like other like stuff to make it good, then just use that, man. You don't got to like overcomplicated things. Make it keep it simple,
go with your instincts.
simple. Yeah, with my instincts. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and I
Yeah.
think it's then important too. You got to kind of know
Mm.
yourself as well. You got to understand,
Yeah.
to a
Yeah.
certain degree. You're not going to be a doctor of psychology, but you got to understand to
Yeah.
a certain degree when something's making you bop a certain way. You kind of take
Yeah.
a step. I wonder why that is, and then
Hmm.
that kind of. No, that's all very